Despite what Instagram may lead you to believe, travel does not always go according to plan, which is exactly what I'm gonna prove to you right now with this story. Hey, Jessie here from Jessie on a Journey, coming to you live from my apartment during quarantine. Now, I hope wherever you are watching from, you are doing well. I know this is a really challenging time. Personally, I've been using this time to really dive into my own creativity and do some self-discovery. And one thing I realized that I've lost from my childhood is storytelling. When I was younger, I told stories every day. I had notebooks and notebooks and notebooks full of stories that I would make up. Some of them were true. And it's something that I don't do all the time anymore. You know, when I started my blog in 2011, I, really wanted to help women feel confident traveling solo, but I also wanted to tell stories. And over the years, I feel like I have gotten more into, in-depth travel guides and travel tips and lists. Sometimes I feel like that is an easier way to share information. But stories not only can entertain and share information, but they can really be medicine. I mean, for the person listening to the story, it is a way to travel into someone else's world. And for the person telling the story, it is a way to let someone else into your world and into your truth. So that's what I've really been leaning into. Expect to see more stories on my social media channels and on my blog, including this one, which is equal parts humor and equal parts could be the setting of a horror movie. This story is about a time I did couchsurfing. And let me just say, I am not knocking couchsurfing. I love couchsurfing. I have met so many amazing people, stayed in amazing homes, gotten to find local experiences I never would have found on my own, all thanks to couchsurfing. So it is something I recommend. But this crazy story just happens to take place at a couchsurfing stay. So a few years ago, I drove from New York City to Denver, Colorado. I was thinking about moving out there for a little bit, just seeing what it was like. So I spent a month there. And on the way to Denver and on the way home, I had to stop off in different cities. It's quite a long drive. Now, on the way home, I really just wanted to stay a night somewhere and stay a night somewhere else just to, sleep, rest up, and then get home. I knew that I would want to just get back to my apartment. But in true Jessie fashion, I left the planning until the last minute, and I didn't really have time to do in-depth reviews of everyone's couchsurfing profile. I kind of just messaged hosts until someone responded, and then I was like, great, this is all sorted. I have somewhere to stay. Perfect. Now, as I am driving to this couchsurfing stay, I get a text from the host who says,
"Hey, would you want to meet me out? I'm actually at a party with a very famous reality TV star."
Now, usually I would have been all about that, not because I'm even that obsessed with reality TV, just because it's kind of a unique experience I don't get to do all the time, and I like to say yes to those types of things. But I had been feeling really achy. I had a headache. I just didn't feel well. I knew I needed rest, and I had a 10-hour drive the next day. So I declined and asked him where I should meet him to get the keys to his house. So he said,
"No, you don't have to meet me. The door is unlocked."
Now, maybe to you that doesn't sound crazy, but I'm from New York where, I wouldn't even leave my window open if I wasn't home. So I personally found this a little strange. I mean, I realized that other cities are different, other destinations are different, so it was okay. I just kind of hoped that I was walking into the correct house. So I arrive at the couchsurfing place. It was the right address, but I still was a little nervous that, I'm going to walk in and someone's there with a baseball bat because they think I'm an intruder. So I kind of tiptoe in, a little hesitant. I'm like, is anyone home? Hello, hello. Okay, don't hear any other voices. Perfect. Go in, can't really find a light switch. It's really dark. I find a little staircase. He had told me he lived on the upstairs apartment. It was sort of a house that was split with a downstairs and an upstairs, and his friend lived downstairs and he lived upstairs. I go up the stairs, still dark, I can't see anything. I find a light switch, turn on the light, and literally drop my purse and my mouth drops open. So, when you're watching a horror movie and the main character goes into this house and you just get so annoyed with them because you know that this is a house where people get murdered. This is not a place that you would ever go, and they are just really dumb for going in there. They should know better. Well, this was that house. All around the walls, they were plastered with those old oval picture frames, the really dusty old vintage ones that are super ornate. And all of the photos were of people who could not have been born in this century. So I have tons of these people just circling me, looking right at me. All in black and white, all kind of dusty and crumply and watching me. I'm like, okay, this is weird. Sleeping on this couch with all these people. Then I start walking down the hallway trying to find the bathroom. Well, I found the bathroom, and I also found a number of posters letting me know that the rapture was coming. I'm like, okay, this is interesting. So I find the kitchen table. It has a pile of mail on it. And I'm like, let me just make sure I'm in the right house before I panic. And I checked that the name on the mail matched the name on the Couchsurfing profile. And it did. So I'm like, yay! I think that's a good thing. I actually don't know. So at that moment, I get a text from the host who says,
you know what? I'm not going to be home until 4 a.m. Why don't you sleep in my room and I'll sleep downstairs on my friend's couch?
Perfect. At least I don't have to have all these creepy dead people looking at me. That is a way better plan. Well, I get to the room, turn on the light, and see at least 20 old cameras, probably the cameras that took the pictures of those old people, pointing straight at the bed, kind of circled around the bed, looking right at it. This is not a setup that anyone who is not a serial killer would have. I mean, this was probably the same bedroom setup that the guy from Texas Chainsaw Massacre had. I see more Rapture is coming posters, there's some creepy dolls. I am getting really weirded out. I'm starting to panic a little bit. I think I see the walls melting. I think I hear ghosts. And I'm like, maybe my imagination is running away with me. Maybe I am overreacting. I decide to FaceTime my mom and show her kind of the situation. We talk for maybe 0.2 seconds before she says, get out of there, go get a hotel. I do not care if you're sick. I do not care how much it costs. This is haunted. Something is not right here. Now, as I'm thinking about packing my bags and going somewhere else, I decide to check this guy's profile one more time on Couchsurfing. I mean, while I didn't look at the profile very well, I did look at the reviews, and I know that at least 3 people had survived this experience and even left a positive review after it. Well, probably would have been a good idea to check his profile before booking, because it turns out that this guy was a producer for horror movies and television shows, including my favorite show, American Horror Story. Now, I definitely still slept with earplugs, an eye mask, and the covers over my face, just in case any ghosts came out of the wall. That was definitely a possibility. I wanted to sleep through that, but it ended up being a great experience. Unfortunately, I didn't get to meet the guy because I was leaving early and he had stayed out late. But this was how nice he was. Not only did he let me sleep in his bed, this guy that I was thinking was the Texas Chainsaw Massacre guy also woke up super early before I left to leave breakfast out for me and leave me a note saying he wished we could have met. So I guess the moral of this story is don't judge a book by its cover, and also read the profile of your Couchsurfing host before you arrive, or you might be surprised and think that you are in a horror movie. All right, now I hope you enjoyed this story. If you have your own stories about funny or crazy Couchsurfing, Airbnb, hosteling, or hotel experiences, please let me know in the comments. I would love to hear it. And if you enjoy travel as much as I do, please make sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification so that you get notified when future videos publish. Happy trails!